Good morning. Happy Tuesday to everyone out there in the YouTube world. Welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. My name's Simon and I do a daily Bitcoin price action analysis. It's now the second day into a new week and nothing's changed. But that's okay because hopefully you'll still find this probably shorter than normal video, at least entertaining, but hopefully useful. Just before I get into it, remember, I'm not a financial advisor and this definitely isn't financial advice. But if you've got any medical problems, run them by me, by all means. What I thought would be interesting today was just to look at the power of the weekly chart. So here you can see what is getting on for, if you discount that wick, that candle, this will be the 8th week basically in a row for Bitcoin. And as I showed you yesterday on the BBWP, i.e. the volatility matrix, the volatility is super low, which you can see yourself by the sideways price action. What would be interesting though is if I can pick up, how much information can you pick up to use on the lower time frames from the weekly? Well, let's just find out. So what I'm going to do is use a line of randomness, or logical line, whatever you want to call them, to try and pick out as many of these wicks as I can. I want two horizontal lines. There's one. Then I want one at the top. There's two. And then I'm going to do a cheeky little diagonal. And you may disagree with what I'm doing, and that's marvelous. But I feel like it's logical, so I'm going to put it on. Now, the reason for that is that it doesn't mean too much on the weekly time frame, but when I then zoom down to, say, a 4-hour, and zoom out a bit, so you kind of get enough information on your screen to see the bigger picture, which is basically sideways, but enough detail to then be able to visualize the individual candles. So you can see a pullback from the current high, current low, and upside since then. Upside with a very obvious horizontal segment. And it kind of fits quite well. So remember, these were lines that I grabbed from the weekly time frame with an upper range border. Is that right? Have I said that the right way around? A border upper range? No, a range upper border. Couldn't get those three words out in the correct order. A range lower border, and then a diagonal. And I kind of think it makes sense. Clearly, these weren't involved on the weekly closure, and that's why they're sticking out. But it does pick up the rest of the price action from the range in this section. So I thought that was quite interesting. You can get a lot of detail from a weekly time frame that you can then use on the lower time frames. And so to keep this video short today, there's not a great deal of change from yesterday's video. You can see that I think the buyers, some people call them the bulls, although that creates pictures of bulls at computers, bulls and bears at computers, going long, short, long, buy, sell, buy. Whereas clearly, I mean, I don't know, maybe they do in a parallel universe, But I think in our universe, it's humans that do the trading. So that's why I'm going to say this is a battle between buyers or longers and sellers or shorters. And I still get the feeling that the buyers are winning. And it's a feeling, but it's also demonstrated objectively by a sequence of higher lows on this 4 hourly time frame, with a it is more like overhead resistance rather than a sequence of lower highs, but you could interpret that as lower highs, but it's more obviously higher lows. So higher lows signifies an uptrend, but you wouldn't describe this as an uptrend because of the lack of higher highs, and so it's more of a squeezing, an upward squeeze on price action that will hopefully resolve one way or the other. I don't care which way it goes. I just want it to resolve one way or the other. For me personally, resolution will be a 4 hour closure above 44,000. And for me personally, a resolution to the downside, resolution to the downside. I'd like to see a closure below 42,000 on a 4 hour, and then we'll come back to it. A good target for following resolution to the downside would be 40,000. And a good target, excuse that very loud cough. A good target following resolution to the upside would be 46, really. I don't think it'll shoot straight up there. Maybe some pauses halfway up and maybe a pause halfway down. So there you go. That's the price action analysis for today. It's no different, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you tomorrow. You know what it is tomorrow? It's hump day, baby.